Get You Some Radio.
That's that appearance factor, the shiny penny syndrome. Wife gets one, you deserve one too. Why not? Come back, come see me. I've done some pretty wacky stuff. I put business cards in their gas tank outside the fuel door, obviously, saying, hope you enjoyed your first fuel on me. So the next time they gas up, they remember your name. Be the last to shake their hand because you want your face being the one they remember, not somebody else. You made the sale. You want the lasting impression. Do wacky things. Send a balloon that says it's a boy to their work with a thank you card saying thank you for the business. Guess what's going to happen? Their friends are going to go over and go, I didn't know you were pregnant. Ha ha, this is my car sales guy. They'll go, my car guy didn't even follow up.
Right.
So talk about follow up. I have a system. You first day follow up. Hey, how's the relationship going with you and your car? Third day, are all promises met? Are you looked after? Seventh day. I mean, we're talking on the survey as well here. Hey, can you please fill out this survey? Can you please fill out this Google review? And if you do all this, you have them. You've already built that friend. So it's like calling, hey, Mike, you want to go play basketball this weekend? You're calling your customer saying, hey, how's everything going? Were you happy? Were you thrilled? Were you completely satisfied? If you weren't, and just staying. And then, breaking it out to the point after 7 days, you do 45-day follow-up with a phone call and every 90-day with a written letter, or if you make a catalog or something that you can mail out to them saying, hey, I still remember you. Thanks for the biz.
Now, your weekly dose of inspiration, perspiration, and just the right amount of bull defecation. The Get You Some Radio Show with your host, the Vice President of Making Shit Happen, Terry Lancaster.
Hey, welcome back to the Get You Some Radio Show. Terry Lancaster here, and you may have noticed, this is not the Get You Some Studios. I'm on the road. I was on a plane yesterday. I'm training folks today. Just got through. I'm sitting in a hotel room in North Carolina, hoping the storm doesn't come through. So we're playing it by ear as we go along. And I'm going to be talking today to my buddy Mitch James. Mitch and I have been working together at car dealerships across Canada for a pretty good while. And he ended up writing a book. The book's called The Recipe for Mastering Your Craft in Auto Sales by Mitch James. Available on Amazon. You can go get it now, and you probably should. I tell people all the time, I train salespeople, but I'm not a sales trainer. I'm not a sales trainer because I don't teach people how to sell. I've never sold a car a day in my life. That's how I always start my speeches. I've never sold a car a day in my life, but I've been helping car dealers sell more cars for close to 4 decades now. So for decades, I've been helping people, salespeople and dealerships market themselves. And I work with everything that happens before the sale and everything that happens after the sale. But that magic window, that 7 to 10 to 14 days from when someone decides they're going to raise a car and lifts their hand, or when they walk on the lot and drive off with a car, I got nothing to say about that. Fortunately, there's a book now because my buddy Mitch has written the guideline. This is for salespeople brand new to the car business. You walk into a store day one, and unfortunately, there's a lot of stores that have zero training. You walk into a store, they go, "There's your desk, there's the coffee machine, go sell a car." That's the typical training that a lot of folks get. Mitch has written the book for you. If that's your situation that you're in, you're going to learn what to do on day one. The first time someone walks up to you and wants to buy a car, we're going to take you down the road to the sale right after this.
If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're struggling to be perfect, hoping for average, and settling for anything less than the life you were born to lead, you can do better. Better. Self-help for the rest of us. The groundbreaking new personal development book from Terry Lancaster. Get your free copy today at terrylancaster.com.
So you know how in all the commercials they have the fast-talking guy at the very end and he gives you all the important information? Well, I'm going to give you the disclaimer right up front. This book will not make you a millionaire or a movie star. It's not going to give you six-pack abs, and it's not going to give you gleaming white, perfectly straight teeth. But perfection is overrated. It's a fantasy, and it doesn't exist in nature. What this book will do is give you proven strategies for making your actual life better. You can build a better life, one better decision at a time.
Better. Self-help for the rest of us. Get your free copy today at terrylancaster.com.
All right, Mitch, how you doing, buddy? Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a great day here in Duncan, BC. Great weather we're having.
Is there ever any bad day in Duncan, BC? I think that's like one of the most temperate places on earth. It's supposed to be drop dead beautiful 365 days a year.
Paradise, always paradise. No shoveling snow, no brushing off the cars. I'm done with that.
Yeah, Duncan, BC. It's on Vancouver Island. Beautiful place, temperate place. So there's a lot going on there. Mitch is at Island Ford in Duncan, BC. But this ain't your first rodeo, right? You've been around the block.
Yes, sir. 20 years of experience. I've been coast to coast, Ontario West, every province, sold all over, did road sales. I've done it all from being a sales guy to myself, service, the whole nine.
So, I mean, the thing I really liked about the thing that kind of sucked me in is actually when you first started talking, and you started talking about how you got into the business, and what really came across was your love for the business. I mean, your family was in the business, and you kind of followed in your father's footsteps in certain ways and certain paths. But tell us about your relationship your relationship with the car business, and what it is you like about the car business, and why other folks maybe should consider.
Terry, my dad's not a very tall man, but he does cast a long shadow. Getting out of his shadow has been very tough. Switching from service to sales. The auto industry has been nothing but pleasant to me. I've seen my own country. I've made more money than lawyers, doctors, engineers. I have no education. I mean, out of everyone who should have written the book, I'm the last guy that people would have thought. And it's allowed me to make a very honest living and travel. And it's given me so much simplicity. I can go outside on nice days. I can go in the shop when I want to be loud. It's just brought so much greatness to me that you want to make the most money you ever did with no ceiling, come see me. If you don't want to make a lot, that's your choice. You can do that in the car business too. I don't recommend it though.
Yeah, and that's it. When I tell people about the car business, I go, anyone with a high school degree, you don't have to have advanced education, but you can walk in, you can make doctor and lawyer money, and you can make entrepreneur money without sinking a dime of your own money into the investment. You can let the dealer carry all the investment, and you can still make $100,000, a couple $100,000 a year selling somebody else's material, and all you have to do is follow the steps, right?
ABCs, just follow the 1, 2, 3s, and it's paint by numbers. Don't make it hard. It's not hard. It's easy, and it's only when you make it difficult for yourself that you really stress yourself out.
So tell us this: if you're talking to, and I end up training a lot of people, and a lot of the salespeople are younger guys. You get a lot of 18, 19-year-old, 20 guys that kind of stumble into the business because they really didn't have anywhere else to go, and they decide that they're going to try it. And so that's really the one thing that I like, because trying it really, really rarely works out. If you want, it's not a good business to try. It's a good business to do. But so if you've got someone who's thinking about jumping into the car business, what would you tell them? Give us the first step. Why should they get into it? And then how should they get started?
That's my greatest cup of tea right there. Hit the nail on the head. I will bring anybody who has no experience, some experience, all the experience. And how do I really start it? I just let my passion for the auto industry bleed through first and foremost, how excited I can get, how emotional behind it I can get. And they just see right with me that it's there. The belief system is there. So then now it's training. It's easy. Just make sure you're on them daily and say, here's the 10-day schedule. Here's some quizzes. Here's the roadmap, right? The treasure chest. I've got the answers. I already put my teeth into this. So just follow what I can tell you to do. It's pretty simple, and it's A to Z.
Yeah. So one of the things toward the end of the book, you had a listing of people you've hired in the business who've gone on to run dealerships, who've gone on to make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, who are making huge livings and making big implications, who you started from, selling coffee or baristas or something like that.
I've had some great success stories. I had some music guys that are now GSMs, general sales managers. I had a pro boxer that had no right being in boxing anymore, couldn't take another punch. He had a kid on the way, and now he's one of the top Nissan salespeople in Canada. He's getting offers all over the table, calling me for advice. What do I do? I said, stay put. Money's there. Your clients are there. Don't make any sudden moves. It's working. When that runs out, then start considering your ideas. There's so many finance people that I made into finance. Just here's what I can do for you. Here's how I'll get you there. I won't keep you under my thumb, and I'll tell you everything you need to know so you can advance to that high potential you deserve to be at.
So what's the steps? How do you turn a boxer into a car salesman?
Oh, you paint it easy for him. You give him the road. So you say, here's the process. Here's what you got to get through. And here's how simple it is. You go from the only time you get an introduction to the meet and greet, and you just follow it, A, B, C, and then you build rapport to investigate, to presentation and demonstration, all with some manager help. And if you find yourself set back on the road bump, just go back to the step like a Mickey Mouse. Oh, I screwed up. Go back. And then you just paint that road so clear that he knows where to go, and he's not kamikaze trying to find keys and plates. He's got a direction, and he looks professional. He acts professional, and you can polish any rock into a diamond, my friend.
Yeah. So you mentioned the boxer, and there were a couple of other guys that you mentioned who had come from the athletic world. So you said you like bringing athletes on. What is it that you like about athletes and how that relates to the car sales business?
That's such a great question. I get excited. I get hot and horny for these guys because they're fundamentally sound, man. They understand you got to do this motion to this motion. They understand there's a coach. They understand that someone's going to be saying, hey, this is what you got to do. This is how we're going to do it. Let's execute this game plan. Here's the X's and O's. Now make it happen. And then you do it just on the board, just like they're used to. It's just switching. It's called an audible, and they're switching from one sport to another, really.
So coachable. Coachable would be the main thing. Someone who's coachable. What's something else that you look for that you think when you see someone with this attribute, you think, oh, I bet they can sell some cars. What else are you looking for?
I look for a good smile, enthusiasm, excitement, a backbone. Someone can stand their ground. I can build. Thick skin will come. We all know this, right? You hear a lot of no's and rejections, but I mean, the thick skin will come. That I can teach you. But I mean, the fundamentally sound and how excitable you get. I mean, can you take direction? If you take direction, I've got you. You'll get there.
Yeah. What do you don't want? Who's going to come to you and go, Mitch, I want to sell cars. I can do it. Help me out. What's it going to take for you to go, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to take a pass on this one. Who are you going to pass on, Mitch?
I have such a strong belief system. I'll give anybody a try, and I'll just go until I realize, hey, man, I've taught you this 50,000 times. By the third time, you should have got it. I've coached you. I've shown you myself. I went and did the words I've asked you to say. It works. Why aren't you doing it? And then I realized you just are uncoachable, my friend. Once I find you're uncoachable, then we either find a new home in the dealership. Again, why I love the car business. There's a home for everybody. Maybe you're better at counting bolts and you should be in parts, you know? Maybe you got that good customer service but can't ask for the sale and you belong in service. There's a home for everybody.
You know, that really is. I think that's an important thing. I think people forget. I've been around the car business for decades, and every small town. I'm in America. I've been around to the South, North Carolina, Mississippi, Tennessee. Every small town in America, the car dealership is the backbone of that small town. I'm sure it's the same way in Canada. They're the ones sponsoring the Little League team. They're the ones sponsoring the Pee Wee hockey team. They're the ones doing everything, and they're also usually, if not the number one employer in the smallest of towns, they are pretty close to it because you've got the service people and you got the receptionists and you got finance people. These are big important businesses, and there's different places, different slots that people can fit in.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, the government wouldn't help with bailouts on the economy with GM, and if Ford didn't sell Jaguar in time many years ago, they would have needed the bailout too, and they would have received it. You know what I mean? The economy and the auto industry go hand in hand. It's a major factor in North America. So you can't be prouder for working for it.
Yeah, like I said, as I've always said, as the car business goes, the economy goes. It drives you. You can't separate the two. They're things that be together. So that's why I think it's a good opportunity for people, because there are so many opportunities there, and because there's so much. It's so integral to everything that it's going to be hard for anyone to let us go. There's a lot of people rooting for the car business.
Endless limited. I mean, you're unlimited to do whatever you want with no ceiling, and you can be proud. You can dress as sharp as you want, and you can be so proud working for the car business. I know there's the old derogatory greasy car salesman, came from somewhere, that stereotype. Forget it. It doesn't exist anymore. Those days are behind us. We're now got a new name to the brand, and it should be shown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never thought that the slick huckster salesperson. I always thought that was a legend anyway. That was a myth because I've been around car dealers forever, and again, most of them are the backbone of the small town. They're the president of the Civitans. They're some of them are running for mayor. They are decent, upstanding, honest citizens. You couldn't run a multi-million-dollar business like that if you were just some slick huckster. Maybe you can run a car lot on the side of the road with 3 cars out in front of it. But if you got a Ford dealership and you got 200 cars and Ford trusted you with a couple of $1 million cars over there, they put you through the ringer before they're going to give you that kind of money. So
easily $100,000 go back to charity from our dealership, from our auto group. Easily $100,000 a year.
So let's say this. Let's say you're a young man or a young woman, and you're fresh out of high school, you're fresh out of university, you're 19, 20, 25 years old, and you saw this and go, well, maybe I do want to get into the car business. Where should you go? How should you get started? And how do I pick the good car dealers that I want to go to work for that are going to train me, as opposed to the guys who are going to say, there's your desk, there's the car, and go sell a car? What are we looking for?
Those shiny ones are new. Those shiny ones are used. Go get me 20 deals. Yeah. When I move to a new city, sometimes you move for the job and sometimes you're in a relationship that moves you. If you want to start out new, check the back bumper plate frames. Who's selling the most in your town? You know what I mean? Check your area. I'm in a great city, Duncan. I'm between 2 metro cities, Victoria and Nanaimo. So, I mean, I've got the world by the oysters here. And so check the plate frames. They'll tell you. Training, you're not going to know. A lot of people will tell you one thing or another when you're in an interview, or it says it in the job listing. You really got to luck out with the manager sometimes. If you do yourself the justice by asking the right questions in the interview, you should get the right answers. And if you have a guy that's going to do a lot of hands-on, one-on-one, and knows how to be at your level and brings it down to earth, that's where you should be. It's real simple. Just follow the bread of the plate frames. What brand's doing strong in the economy? You can see it in the newspapers. You can see who's number one. And if you are a truck guy, go to a truck place. You know what I mean? Don't go to an import store. It may not benefit you as well as you think.
Yeah, so you want to look for an audience that you can relate to. If you're a blue jeans and flannel guy, you may not want to show up at the Mercedes store, right?
Yeah, true.
Because you're going to have to be something. You're going to have to at least put on something. But if you like putting on the suit and tie, then the Mercedes is there for you. So
you got to believe in the brand you're selling. If you can't get behind what you're selling, it's going to be a harder push. It's going to be an uphill battle. And maybe the more you learn, the more belief you find behind it, or the more you hang out and chum around with those guys that are saying, yeah, it's a great brand, maybe that figures it. But if you can believe from the get-go, before you even start, that I believe in this brand, I like it, my dad's a Ford guy, and you want to work for Ford, that makes life so much simpler.
So one of the things I liked about the book was when you're talking about the brand that you choose, and we're going to talk about the buying triggers and what causes people to choose the vehicle that they're interested in looking at. And you had a great acronym in the book called SPACED, and this defines the categories, the way people are looking at a vehicle, and as from a salesperson's point of view, the way you should be presenting that back to them. Tell us what that means, how it works, and how we can apply it to sell more stuff.
I mean, in anything in sales, the customer's wondering what's in it for me. So you got to figure out how it's going to make their life better. How are you going to do that? Well, what's important to them, right? There's a lot of sayings, customers only care about 20% of the features. So you better find out which 20% they care about. How much better way than ratings spaced? Safety, performance, appearance, comfort, economy, dependability are all your 6 times. Everything someone says about a car goes into those 6 categories. And you can sum it up there. They give you the roadmap to the sale if you just listen. And all you got to do is ask the right question. So if you said, hey, give me what's important out of all those 6, I know I rattled them off quite quick there, but safety, performance, appearance, they're going to say all 6 are important. But if you say between appearance or comfort, what is more important to you, or between an economy performance standpoint, what is more important, they'll give you the better one that is more important to them. And that's how you start going, I'm going to cater this to your lifestyle. I'm going to give you what's in it for you.
I'll tell you the one thing that I don't think a lot of people recognize about the car business, and I've tried to explain it to people before who maybe come from other industries and don't know this, but in car sales, a lot of everything. Well, we have the NADA, the National Automobile Dealers Association. They say that 70% of all car sales happen because the customer ended up finding a salesperson that they like. They came to the store looking for a car, but they found a salesperson, and the salesperson found them a car. Because a lot of what happens in the dealership depends on salespeople who can make fast friends. Is that fair? I mean, that's how I describe it. When you're looking for that 1 minute friend, someone who you see them, you trust them implicitly, automatically.
I'm pretty sure I wrote it right in the book. I mean, you get one shot at making a first impression, and you never want to get off on the wrong foot, because you don't want to have to recover right from the beginning. They're going to decide whether they want to buy from you. Look presentable, have everything tucked in, tight, ready to roll, nice big warm smile, you know, glint in the eye, pep in the step, like you want to help them. And don't be dragging the feet, sauntering, shirt untucked, having half a cigarette, coffee going. Just be ready for them. Show that you're engaged already from the get-go. Strong meet and greet. Hi, my name is, you are, first time, been here before. And rock into a process that gets you A to B. Because, I mean, if you don't follow a process, you're going to stand in the water and you're going to get caught eventually.
Yeah. So you've been around the block. What happens at a store? You've got the process tied. You've got the guest sheet. You've got the roadmap, and you've got the delivery sheet. And these are all in the book, right? By the way. So what happens at a store that doesn't have this? How do things go?
They go a little worse for wear. I mean, they could go better. They're not failing. They're surviving. I mean, the store goes on, but I mean, you go from a personal 8 to 12 car guy, all of a sudden you're a 15 car guy. You go from a 15 car guy, you're a 20 car guy. And then some of these guys I've taught are 40 car guys and still blow my mind at what they can do in a month. It's incredible. And it was just practice makes perfect. Follow a process. I mean, it's a step-by-step how to sell a car. Why leave it to chance where you could say, I could have messed that up by accident? When if you just follow a game plan, load your lips with the proper words and avoid the triggers that bail customers out. And create the objection before they can't use it against you, and you have them. And at the end of the day, that friend, you have a friend for life.
So that's important. That was one of the things I loved in the book. I didn't even think to ask about you, but you just said that create the objection before they do. Tell us about that.
You know they're going to say, I'm just looking, I have to go. So when you use it in a script against them and say, hey, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to get going because I'm assuming timing is pretty important to you. Am I right? You answer a yes question, you get a positive affirmation, you get their head nodding. They're getting their psychology triggered into positivity right away, and they know that you respect their time. And when you show you care, they can justify their time. And all of a sudden, they see value in yourself and what you're selling. Because you're selling more than just a car. You're selling your brand, the product, you know, the company, the dealership. You got to be on point at all times. You can't be slipping.
Yeah. And you know, we talk about what happens right there between the moment that I was talking to a salesperson last week. As a matter of fact, he came from Los Angeles. He'd been in the car business for almost a decade at a couple of big stores there, and he had just made a move. And he's actually out on his own making a move. And I said, well, you've been in that area selling cars for 10 years. You should have this huge stockpile database of people you've done. He said, well, no, because every store I worked at, we practiced the 3 C's delivery method. I go, I've been around the block a couple of times. I don't know what the 3 C's delivery method is. He goes, see the car, see the keys, see you later.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know anyone. He doesn't have this past phone book of people that he can talk to because he hasn't built the relationships. One of the things you talked about was yes, you got to make fast friends when they walk in the door, but the objective is to build up to where you're working on repeats and referrals. And how do you turn that stranger into a friend and into a lifetime customer? Let's talk about the follow-up process, starting with the service walk. You talked about that pretty big in the book. But what all are the steps that we're going to take to turn that one-time stranger into a lifelong friend?
I even wrote a chapter, Stabilizing Growth in an Unstable Market, and looking where to find your customers. And half of them are coming in your back door at your service department. I mean, we do the math at 35 appointments a day. That's 600 a month of untouched people that believe in your brand, believe in you, and already trust your store. So, I mean, you want to get back to service as much as possible. Some people, you said doing the service walk at the end of my test drive, some people don't know how to segue from the lot back to your desk after the test drive. And it's a good trial close. You get to know the service people. You get to break that barrier because some dealerships still have that sales to sales, service to service. They're enemies because, you know, your internals are quite extensive and they're just too separate. and they shouldn't be. You need to build that friend back there with your service advisors because they're going to make you tons of money. And so when you bring your customer back there, you trial close and say, hey, this is Mr. Customer XYZ. They just agreed to buying the vehicle, and they'll joke with you and say, haha, we haven't done the numbers yet. And you go, numbers are the easiest part of my job. Let's get down and talk turkey. It's everything we've already agreed to on the lot. And it's just A, B, C. And you're setting up the first appointment for the oil change. This is where they'll look after you well after I'm done with the sale, because it doesn't stop with me. My service will sell the next 4 for you, and they'll take care of you well after this initial sale.
So the number I've heard, people tell me that just the mere fact of walking someone back to the service department and introducing them to another human being, this is whether it's a service writer, the service manager, a tech, the janitor who happens to be walking through, introducing them to another human being as you walk through the service department doubles your chances of them coming back for a second meeting.
100%. You get to show off your facility. It's a one-stop shop. Hey, by the way, did you know we can also do this, this, and this? We have off-brands. We offer swag. We have tires. We have products. We probably have a part rack back there that they can take a peek at, saying how they're going to accessorize their new vehicle. Guess what that means? More do-re-mi for you. You get to talk on that level with that customer and build that bond even greater. Hey, that total mental ownership. Who are you going to show? That TMO, right? What are you going to put on it?
Yeah. So they buy the car and they're about to drive off, and you're shaking hands and kissing babies. Tell us the steps to go through, the follow-up steps that are going to ensure that you stay top of mind for them until either they get ready to buy a new car or well, here's the thing I tell everybody. No one in the house buys a single car, because if I buy a car, my wife's getting a car in 6 months. My wife buys a car.
Sure, 6 weeks.
I'm probably getting a car. Nobody sells a car. Cars come in two, because if you get one home, somebody else is going to be angry because they didn't get that one. How do you make sure they come back to you?
That's that appearance factor, the shiny penny syndrome. Wife gets one, you deserve one too. Why not? Come back, come see me. I've done some pretty wacky stuff. I put business cards in their gas tank outside the fuel door, obviously, saying, hope you enjoyed your first fuel on me. So the next time they gas up, they remember your name. Be the last to shake their hand, because you want your face being the one they remember, not somebody else. You made the sale. You want the lasting impression. Do wacky things. Send a balloon that says it's a boy to their work with a thank you card saying thank you for the business. Guess what's going to happen? Their friends are going to go over and go, I didn't know you were pregnant. Ha ha, this is my car sales guy. They'll go, my car guy didn't even follow up.
Right.
So talk about follow-up. I have a system. You first day follow-up. Hey, how's the relationship going with you and your car? Third day, are all promises met? Are you looked after? 7th day. I mean, we're talking on the survey as well here. Hey, can you please fill out this survey? Can you please fill out this Google review? And if you do all this, you have them. You've already built that friend. So it's like calling, hey, Mike, you want to go play basketball this weekend? You're calling your customer saying, hey, how's everything going? Were you happy? Were you thrilled? Were you completely satisfied? If you weren't, and just staying. And then, breaking it out to the point after 7 days, you do 45-day follow-up with a phone call, and every 90-day with a written letter, or if you make a catalog or something that you can mail out to them saying, hey, I still remember you. Thanks for the biz.
Yeah. So with the you've been around the block. You said you've been doing this for about 20 years. What's the biggest difference now than when you started in the business?
Oh man, the internet, of course, man. The internet. I mean, they would come see 4 or 5 stores before they even stop shopping. Now they spend 20 hours online, have 1, maybe 2 stores, and it's just they know what they want. Just move out of the way, because I mean, before you had to lead them and say, here, hey, this is what I think works best. And they go, nope, I know what I want now. Everything's available for them. The banks allowing you to they're getting smarter, of what you're allowed to put through, loan to value and debt service, where they open up and where they tightened up a little bit. And interest rates, of course. I mean, you had 12% was a good rate back in the day. Now people with 0, you got that 0%, you got that 2%. Either way, the internet killed it. And, you know what? And if you're not doing phone deals, if you're not doing stuff to people you've never met, where's close to your front door? I don't care where you live, right? You better get on that. You're behind.
Yeah. So, and the internet is a double-edged sword, because it did all that and made the business more competitive, but it also opened the opportunity for every single salesperson in the world to connect with thousands and thousands and thousands, and to follow up every single day before your buyers their feet hit the floor, they're checking their Facebook page.
Just like anything, have a process geared up. Train your guys of, hey, we're going to do this exactly as if you're sitting across the table from me. Here's what's going to go down. Here's the breakdown. I'm going to send you a video walkthrough of the vehicle You're going to go through it. We're going to negotiate. You're going to drop a deposit. I'll then send a bill of sale. You own a car. I'll deliver it right to you. We actually just we bought a flatbed truck for our dealership, hired a driver. So anywhere you want me to drive this thing, I'm not putting K's on it. I'll flatbed this thing to your front door.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. We have Carvana here. They delivered, 250,000 vehicles last year, probably a little more than that, 300,000 or 400,000. They're going to be pushing for the next little while. And they have home delivery. They have everything electronic, and it's all there. So all of that's coming for you, whether you want it to or not. It's a question of whether you're going to keep up by running with it, or if you're going to keep up by skiing behind it. So.
Yeah. Are you on the curve or are you slipping? If you get caught sleeping, the world will pass you by and these guys will leave you in the dust. There's hungry people out there. Be ready.
All right. So I promise everyone who watches the Get You Some radio show, you're gonna watch this, or you're gonna listen to it on your favorite podcast thing. You can watch it on YouTube. You can do all of that stuff. But the show is for entrepreneurs and for salespeople, and most of them are their type A personalities. They're not going to waste time, listening to me run my mouth with my friends. They want to know what's in it for them. So I promised them, everyone who watches, everyone who listens, you're going to walk away with at least one thing, one action step that you can put into action in your life today to start making your life better. The sum in Get You Some Radio is health, happiness, and prosperity. So what can the listeners do today, whether they're in sales now or thinking about going into sales later? What can they do today to start making things better?
We covered process. We don't need to talk about that. I mean, that can already happen. A belief system, we talked about that. That doesn't need to happen. Have a plan. Have an action plan. And I teach my guys this right from the get-go. If you're planning for February in December, you're already late. You want to be quarterly ahead. And if you're a sales guy, you want to be don't wait till March 1st to start planning for how many you're going to do in March. So have a plan, make an action plan, and break it down to the ridiculous of how you're going to achieve it. Instead of look at these huge staircase going, how do I get there? Break it down to 10-day targets, percentages. I mean, it makes it simple. And then so where am I going to look for your customers? You have the why, the how, and the numbers. If I have closed at one every 4 people, 25%, and I want to sell 10 cars, well, I better talk to 40 people. You know what I mean? So make a plan, see how many a day you got to do, break it down, and you should be a shoo-in. Over calculate your plan. So, reach for the moon, land amongst the stars if you fall short, so you're still good. But make a plan. Plan to, what does it say in the book? Make a plan or plan to fail.
Yeah.
So just make a plan, and I think everyone knows that. And be okay to fail too. Failure is not a bad thing, man. It really isn't.
Well, if you ain't failing, you ain't trying hard enough. That's just a fact of life. If you're not failing, you are not trying hard enough. You're going to have to fail. You have to fail to grow. That's the way the world works.
So on planet Earth.
So break it down into little pieces. Know exactly what you're going to do, one step at a time, because there's only one way to eat an elephant, Mitch. One bite at a time.
One bite at a time, baby.
There you go. One bite at a time. Mitch James, Island Ford in Duncan, British Columbia. I'm gonna have to get up there, man. I wanted to go to Nanaimo for the juniors when they were over there a couple of years ago. So that was I definitely want to come see that place. It looks
open arms, man. You always got a place to stay. Come visit. Thank you so much for everything, Terry.
I appreciate it. The book is The Recipe for Mastering Your Craft in Auto Sales, available on Amazon. Mitch James, look him up, give him a call, read the book.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See you, bud.
Get You Some Radio. You've been listening to the Get You Some Radio Show. Subscribe today at terrylancaster.tv to hear more episodes, win valuable cash and prizes, and get free training to help you create an army of buyers who know, like, and trust you before they've ever even met you. It's a big, wide world, boys and girls. Get out there and get you some.